Welcome to the Gastro Guru at home. Today I'm going to be making 2 Fritte pizzas and 1 amazing cocktail. The first one is going to be made with pistachios, arugula, pancetta, and some Dolce Gorgonzola. The second is with roasted vegetables, but first you gotta have a cocktail before you start cooking. So in a shaker half full of ice, I'm going to be making up my cucumber basil smash. Now I'm doing this one with vodka. You can also use gin. And I'm going to add in a little bit of cucumber. Big thing here, make sure you got thin slices because you want to actually get that flavor of the cucumber. If it's too chunky, it's not going to work. Next, grab your lime. Always want to roll your citrus before you use it. That way you get way more juice and really builds more flavor into your cocktail. So I'm gonna put in 3 slices, and then next some fresh basil. Awesome, love basil. Now you can also use mint, you can use cilantro, you can use any kind of herb that gives it a really nice earthy tone. So I'm gonna shake this up, then we're gonna add in some Mediterranean tonic. It's got some great citrus notes, but you can use soda, you can use tonic, whatever you like. You just want some fizz to keep this a very light botanical cocktail. So it's gonna go really well with the savory pizzas that we're making. So there we go. You gotta taste, guys. Fabulous. And so next, we're just gonna put in a variety of veggies, and you can do anything you want. So I'm gonna start off with some cremini mushrooms. Now, mushrooms always shrink when you're cooking them up, so you wanna make sure that you give them some good size at the beginning. Next, I'm gonna add in an heirloom tomato. And so again, we wanna make this nice and chunky and sort of rustic. And just like mushrooms, tomatoes are gonna shrink as they cook, as that water evaporates. Next, zucchini. Always go for a small zucchini. Listen, it's not a lifestyle choice, it's a flavor choice. Smaller zucchinis have way more flavor. Next, I'm gonna add in a red pepper. Again, I'm gonna throw these in here. So shallots are actually part of the garlic family, so they've got some really nice flavor. I'm gonna do them nice and chunky, and then I'm gonna break apart all these veggies after they're done. I'm already preheating my oven at 420. It's gonna take probably about half an hour for them to cook up. And while they're cooking, I'm gonna be prepping the rest of the toppings for my other pizza. Now here's another thing. Find your very favorite dried herb mixture, and then add it to a bottle of olive oil. This is just great for making croutons. You can pour it over salads, and you've got great flavors that are just gonna keep on infusing. But the biggest thing is you wanna make sure that when you add in your herbs to your olive oil, that you keep the bottle horizontally. That way you've got more infusion happening, and it'll infuse actually a lot faster. I'm using Wim Sonoma's Argentinian steak rub actually on this one. Just has some great complexity and just fabulous on vegetables. Next, I'm gonna add in a little bit of vegetable stock. And then I'm gonna wrap this up, toss it in the oven. This is gonna make for some amazing toppings for our pizza. Vegetables are roasting, already fried up my pancetta. Next, I'm gonna roll out the dough. So I've got some double O flour. This is so incredibly important. You need to have a very fine, silky smooth flour. Otherwise, it winds up sticking to your dough and it just doesn't work out all that well. So seek that out from your neighborhood grocery store. Now, the first time I ever made pizza was with my grandmother. This is actually her rolling pin. And I'm Ukrainian, so we were actually using pierogi dough. And it was so light and fluffy and came out so nice and thin. It was awesome. I'll never forget that. Maybe that's why my love of pizza is so dear to me. So I've got our dough and I'm rolling it into the 00 flour. Next, we're gonna get this really nice and thin. And we're gonna drop it into the pan with the oil. This is gonna cook up literally in 7 seconds aside. This is gonna be your favorite kind of pizza. I absolutely guarantee it. So we've got a nice little personal size piece, and we're gonna drop this into the oil. So you can see it's starting to bubble up really nicely. You're gonna wanna make sure that you've got a knife to be able to poke in some holes so that it doesn't become unshapely. There we go, just adding a couple of cuts just so it'll sit inside the oil nicely. I'm gonna move it around a little bit and then pop it back in. You can already see how quickly it gets browned. So I'm gonna add this onto my crust and look at how beautiful that is. The great thing is that this is gonna cook up in literally 2 minutes at 500. So it's gonna be nice and crispy and give some great flavor. Plus, it's got an unusual shape to it, so which looks great. So next we're gonna add in our veggies. So let's add these guys on liberally. And as I said, I want this to be nice and rustic. So we've got those great chunks and it just looks beautiful. And the aromatics on this are incredible. I only wish I could have that on video right now, which you can actually smell this food. Next, let's do up my favorite pizza. So I'm gonna use the exact same olive oil mixture, just drizzling it on. Next, I'm gonna add in some arugula. And the reason why I'm putting this down first is so that the humidity of the oil and the dough doesn't make the arugula wilt like crazy. Next, I'm gonna add in some basil. This is such a great mixture. Now, the spicy pancetta, I like it at heat, so it's gonna be nice and spicy. And I've already got this fried up, but notice how you can still see some of the fat, because what I want to happen is with the heat in the oven, it's going to actually melt more of that fat, and the fat is going to help to keep it all together and keep it sticking to the actual pizza. Nobody likes slippage on a pizza. Next, I'm going to add in some pistachios, some nice crunch and nutty tones, and then my red grapes. And here's the piece de resistance. And if only I knew what the Italian version of that would be. Anyway, the Bella, the Dolce Bella, the Molte Bella, anyway, the bellissimo part of this pizza, please forgive me, is the Dolce Gorgonzola. So this Gorgonzola is nice and creamy. See how I'm just pulling it apart? And the reason why I'm using Dolce Gorgonzola is because it isn't as firm. The firmer the cheese, the more salt content when you're dealing with the blue cheese. Oh, that looks awesome. Next, I'm also gonna add in some sweet peas to this guy. And I've got some sun-dried baby tomatoes. Oh my God, these are so awesome. They're not quite as bitter as sun-dried tomatoes, and they just have some great flavor. I'm gonna add in some shishito peppers, and next I'm gonna top it off. I've got a nice mixture of some Gran Padano cheese, mozzarella, and cheddar. So it's a really nice flavor combo of sharp, mild, and medium. Boom. Does that look great? Oh. Now I'm gonna pop these in the oven literally for 2 to 3 minutes, and they're gonna be perfect. We just want the cheese to melt and we're all good to go. So until the next time, guys, stay happy, keep cooking, and be healthy. Cheers. Oh, pizza makes every day better.